Some Guardians have found tremendous success teaming up with others to smash the fastest completions for raids, but some have taken raid challenges to the extreme and completing encounters in a fireteam of one. Let's initiate this section with the greatest solo player of all time, JP02. JP is also referred to as Vossic the Archpriest and has little question around his title of the Solo GOAT. The only person to have soloed every possible encounter at the time of recording, JP was instrumental in developing strategies for completing the Vossic solo, as well as accomplishing a solo flawless wrath of his own. 19 world's first completions, and nearly 100 solo challenges. No matter how you look at it, this guy is second to none.
First time I saw this guy, me and Kylo Brent had been trying to figure out a way to solo Siege Engine on Titan. We developed a strategy that we thought was going to work. We bring in Vossic, or JP, and he beats it in less than a week. We've been trying to do this for almost 2 years combined. He beats it in less than a week. The man's freaking legend.
That was a big talking point I heard with him across, the entire collection of information and the whole researching about the players. It was like, hey, what's this guy like? And the prevailing sentiment is everything he does faster than anybody who's ever done it. It takes people years to get into position to do a hard mode axis. This guy does it when he wakes up without breakfast. Like, he's just better than everyone.
This guy is the same guy who people had been trying to solo Atheon post Age of Triumph, and everyone thought it was impossible. He, quote, got bored and decided to do it, and did it 4 hours later.
That's unbelievable.
I can show you the text. Got bored and did it 4 hours later.
It's also, we've talked about, so the solo section is the last section we're doing in the top 100, and we've talked about people who are good at every raid, and all of the raid specialists, and who the greatest in each of those categories are. With Vogue, it's, Ishtar, Laggy, Shiflet, there's a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Robski and A4 Harry are, without question, a 1A, 1B in Crota. King's Falls, probably Taco, Wrath, Corey, Axis Bake, whoever. All of these people have competition at the top spot, but not in solos. Nobody comes close to JP, and nobody has a reputation of being even close to him in terms of skill, in terms of accomplishments, greatness, you name it, he is number one.
In sense of overall solos, yeah, there is no one who comes remotely close.
JP has been around for a long time. Even back when Axis Bake was kind of overshadowing him, he was still doing solos, but he's got to be one of the longest standing solo players. He's just always been there to slay the biggest boss by himself. I don't know.
He's a great example of, I would say, why Raid Report necessarily doesn't matter in the slightest.
Yeah.
Because if you've ever checked up what his account is on Raid Report, he's not Challenger speed rank. There's 200. It says there's 200 people. There's there's closer to 1,000 people in Challenger speed rank, and he is not one of them. Like that's just how good at solos he is. He doesn't really do even casual runs with random players. He just does solos, and he does them better than anybody else ever has. The best warlock of today's game, Jubwalker, is a top 100 raider. The only modern player to main Warlock across many of his solos. Jub is the only person to complete a start-to-finish Warlock Wrath solo. Jubwalker has completed over 25 unique solo challenges, and just to top it off, the 13:28 Vault of Glass world record speedrun.
I didn't speedrun with him a little bit, but I did talk to him. I've talked to him. He was one of those players that can just kind of do whatever he wanted on demand. If he wanted to do a solo Vossic, he could. I mean, he was good enough to get VOG record, so overall, he's a good player. He knows the right people. He made his debut on solos, so I'd say he's definitely one of the best solo players for sure.
Wall, anything to add on Jubwalker?
Pretty cool that he was into the solo community as it was forming. like the last wave really was Joe Walker's wave. It's like pretty cool to see people capitalize on all the knowledge that people have developed over the years, and come in and just fuck the game up. Like it's Dark Souls or some shit. Like when I see these solo discords, Destiny feels like a Dark Souls game, literally.
That makes sense. He makes it more difficult for himself as well, because Joe Walker does everything on Warlock, pretty much exclusively. Like Titan is, 99, I would say, percent of top tier raiders main Titan, just because of like it's so much better than every other class. It's not even close. But he's made the top 100 mostly based on Warlock accomplishments.
With Titan, there's always like the chance to get slightly better movement or like get a better boost, because there's so many complicated ways to move. But with Warlock, you have to like be extremely consistent at the basics, which is what really makes you good. So
yeah, like just like when you hop on top of Siege Engine, like people who'd only have done Siege Engine solos or got on top for the first round, like it's so much easier on Titan that we take for granted. Just like when you're doing these solo flawless Wrath attempts and you get a run past Vosik, which very rarely happens. And now all of a sudden you have to do one of the most difficult movement things, and that's one attempt to get on top of Siege Engine without, Titan lift.
Getting on top of the engine is genuinely fucking hard on Warlock.
The original greatest solo player of all time and the first to do many great solo challenges, Esoteric won. The former all-time leader in total solo encounters completed and the largest collection of solo challenges. .390 solo flawless Crota, Axis solo all the way back in 2016, and the world's first 310 Oryx solo, Esoteric is without question a solo rating legend.
First time I saw this guy, he was solo flawlessing Crota, and at the time, the only way I knew of was to do the self-res Warlock strat. This man's sword blocking on the bridge, with the bridge falling apart behind him. It's like, oh, that looks easy. I'm gonna give it a try. 2 weeks. 5 hours a day, I couldn't get it a single time. Like, how in the world is this man this good? Good grief. Every single challenge that has been done, even if, I'm just going to say the D word, Destiny 2, D1 or D2, if something is possible, he has done it. Like, look at, what's the non-boss encounter in Deepstone Crypt? Descent. That's one of the hardest solos. He's done it. Solo Atheon in the grenades, the first grenade strat, one of the hardest solos. He's done it. Yeah, he rarely was the first, but if it's possible, he's done it.
That guy, Esoteric, pretty much like, in my opinion, he made solos what they are now. Guy would optimize every solo. I've never played with him or talked to him. I've seen his videos of what other people have told me about him. He made a lot of the current solo strats. I mean, I don't know, he is just crazy at the video game for sure. Turned to Destiny 2 and was even better at that game. Like, he's just an overall very good player in general across all video games.
Another early era solo player and someone who I am extremely excited to talk about, the Jew himself. Jew spent a great deal of his playing career in the pre-D2 days, and in that time completed all of the possible boss challenges pretty much as soon as anyone could. Joining him is Textbook 1987. Another early solo player, Textbook was a pioneer in the early development strats across all 4 raids and was one of the earliest Oryx clears. Next is Dom Legends. Dom is in the running for the title of the best Axis damager, demonstrated by his consecutive Arc subclass solos, world's first no prime 2-phase, and constant recognition as the greatest Axis solo player of all time.
I'm gonna chunk them together.
Okay, go for it.
That's okay.
Yeah, that
Because
works.
they were all pretty similar influences. They all did solo shit. Dom did missions. Drew himself did a lot of solo encounters and do encounters and stuff. And Textbook did a lot of stuff with orcs. But people who were just some of the first people to hold the torch, you know what I mean, and pass it off.
Yeah, if you go to a raid report and look at when Jew himself got all his solo tags, it was the year the raid came out. He has year 1 Crota and Vogue, year 2 Oryx, and year 3 Axis solos. Like, as soon as strats were conceived for just how to get it done, he figured it out and he accomplished it. And that it's so much harder to contextualize, 9 years into the game, what a Crota solo was back then, because of, you're 400 light now. We have much more understanding of the game, and Crota solo is basically a free thing to do that every player should have at some point in time. When this guy did it, that was considered impossible, because it took a fire team of 6 people 4 hours to get Crota done. So how is one person going to do it? And he just every time a new raid came out, he was the one who's going to solo everything that he could. Vertical, keep us going.
This man looks like he saw the list of possible challenges in D1 and took it as a challenge unto himself. Go to his YouTube and there's 2-man this, 3-man that, 2-man this, solo that, 2-man this, 2-man that, 3-man that. He's done freaking everything. What on earth has he not done?
He did everything, and he did it so early too. One of the things he said was it was a 3-orb 2-man Golgoroth. And this is with 335 spindles. He was one person during the voting process that I was like, oh man, I people might not know him because he's played too long ago, but he's absolutely deserving of that, and I really hope he gets in because I really want to talk about him.
Yeah, 100%. It's everything on his history is just, I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to do 7 variations of it. Oh, I'm going to beat Axis? Great. Got that one done. Now I'm going to beat Axis, 4-man, 1-phase. Then I'm going to beat Axis, no gun, 3-man. I'm like, wait, who comes up with it? Who wants to subject themselves? And then he does it 3rd try. Okay. Go you.
And then he does Blade Dancer, and then again, all of these things. Look at the dates of when this happened. 2018, 2017. People,
it's a month after it came out.
Being 400 light was not normal back then.
It's just people who enjoy pain and then create ways to make their own. Textbook, that guy blows me away. Every time I go back and look at his old videos and everything, it's how many strategies did he develop? How many strategies hey, let's try this out. Hey, let's do this. And it's I don't know. I was not playing at the time this was going on, but every time I go back and look at just the old players, the OG content creators, it's just, oh, this guy did everything.
And wrap it up with Dom Legends.
Dom blows me away every time that I look up his videos, every time I scroll through our DMs and look at his accomplishments. I've tried to do solo Axis, and I thought I was pretty good to get to 1 damage phase. And then I go and look at literally the best Axis player of all time. It's oh yeah, never mind, I suck at this game. This is what an actual gamer looks like. Definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best Axis player.
Mice, I know that's something you share as well.
Without a doubt, best damage. I mean, he has damage record on pretty much all the ports. I've talked to him a little bit. He's very humble. Axis he has Axis fucking on a leash for sure. Whenever Dom enters the raid, Axis gets Axis senses spiritual pressure or some shit. I don't even know. But motherfucker, that guy's scary when it comes to Axis.
One of my best friends and grandest guys in the game, it is Clawweefy. Claw has held the title of the Oryx solo GOAT longer than anyone else, and the only player to complete the Age of Triumph Atheon solo multiple times. Claw is one of the few owners to have 3 hard mode solo tags and has done so with multiple challenges. A unanimous addition to the top 100 greatest raiders. I want to start us off here. Besides being one of the greatest raiders, he is also one of the greatest guys in the game's history. Clawify initially asked to be removed from this ballot and instead showcase other talented solo players, but even I couldn't let that slide. A person with his reputation and accolades just cannot go without this recognition, and I am very happy that this is an opinion shared by many. He's the only person who considers Age of Triumph Atheon as a repeatable solo challenge, soloed hard mode axes, and is at worst the second best Oryx solo player of all time. I really love this guy. He is without question one of the greatest raiders of all time.
Claw is something else. One of those rare players to where you feel comforted every time that he's teaching you something. When I did my first solo Oryx, he was in my stream constantly sending messages, 10 a second, trying to boost me up, trying to make me feel better about whenever I made mistakes, trying to change my game around a little bit, change my loadout around a little bit. And when I finally beat it, felt like $1,000,000. Then I went to his channel and looked at the fact that he's done pretty much everything in Oryx. So yeah, sweetheart of a guy and one of the best Oryx players alive.
A PlayStation duo we need to discuss. Let's start on Overwall. Overwall is responsible for over 70% of the confirmed Vasa kills at over 20, yes, 20 kills. The third ever completion of the solo Flawless Wrath Challenge, and the first to do so in under 60 minutes. The master of all, Slooz, is one of the greatest raiders of all time. This guy is the all-time leader in solo server tags at over 100 and can do just about everything. 8 TP Axis on Warlock, Siege Engine on Warlock Blinks, several 390 Crota and Vogue challenges, and why not Age of Triumph Atheon? Vertical, let's go.
Overwall. Let me tell you, that guy has done something in Destiny that not many people can in the last, I'd say, 4 years. He got Destiny 1 on Twitch freaking hyped.
Yes.
When he was doing his solo Flawless Wrath, whenever he got past Vosic, his chat was going ballistic.
There was over 100 people on some other streamer that was not, coming back to D2 after having an established fan base like Sweatskull would occasionally do that. No, this guy, he's just a pure D1 player for life and was blowing up the entire servers.
It was honestly a thing of beauty, let alone the fact that he did it faster than Axespake or JP. He made Destiny hype, which honestly nowadays very, very rare. Freaking legend.
Overall's a cool guy. When he first started playing, I didn't really like him because I was kind of jealous of him, I'm going to be honest. I was trying to do shit, and then he would, come in and then, do it first try, and it'd be like, this fucking guy. But as I got to know him and I got to play with him better, he's a really cool guy. Very, very good solo player. He's really good friends with Taco. Taco taught him a lot of speedrunning stuff.
Anything on Slooz?
Everything on Slooz, if we're going to be honest here. Man has done more than, I dare say, I haven't done all the research on this, but dare say, I think he's done more than JP or more than Esoteric. He's done literally everything. You want to have a Crota God? We got him. You want an Axis God? We got him. Solo Siege Engine? Hey, listen, legend.
One of the best hard mode challenge players of the game today, Cameron JP123, is a top 100 raider. Cameron has completed a Warlock Vosic solo and has been able to do many of his solo challenges on Hunter and Warlock. Echo was a former mission runner before arguably becoming the best solo player at the start of 2021. Echo has recorded a solo hard mode Axis, the former record for lowest Oryx Hunter rounds, and a 2-man 1-phase Axis. Vertical, let's start with you for these two.
Cameron was one of the first people that I met. Like when I got into quote unquote the Destiny challenge scene, Cameron was one of the first people I talked to, and he helps with everything. Like he's like such a good knowledge base, and it's like, oh, this guy knows Destiny pretty well. Cool. And then you go check him out, and it's like, never mind, he don't know Destiny at all. He knows Oryx better than anyone. Holy crap. The man does not leave Kingsfall. Every single version of Oryx, or Oryx left-handed with your toe on Titan with Hunter on your, every single version of Oryx he's done. The man's a legend for Kingsfall.
Anything for Echo?
He is a Oryx and Axis boy. Loves Wrath of the Machine, speedrunning, but Oryx variation challenges looks like something that he is, quite fond of, I should say.
99 down, 1 to go, and that final spot goes to Wiki Picky. Wiki is the only player to have completed every hard mode final boss back to back to back. He was also the first Voidwalker Oryx solo, the first Warlock hard mode Axis 1 completion, and the first 4-round 7-bomb hard mode Axis. Let's start with Wiki Picky here.
Wiki Picky is an interesting story because Mojo Jojo DDSTU3 is a name that a lot of people in the community remember from a certain year.
Very well.
A menace to society, known to boot LFGs and shit. Like, he was just that guy. He was the bad kid on the block on Destiny, and Wiki Picky was his right-hand man. And they would farm clears and shit together. So when Wiki first started soloing, I thought it was actually a little bit silly. But it was kind of interesting to see that ego and nonsense turn into him actually forming accomplishments and me being forced to be like, oh shit, he's actually good. Well, damn. Yeah, so I guess pride can take you places. That's what you can learn from Wiki Picky. Needless pride is just fucking saying that you're the best and then sticking to it no matter what can work sometimes, I guess.
Wiki was the first solo player I've ever talked to. He was a cool guy. I talked to him when he was making Target. Wiki, he was good at solos. He kind of like, you could tell that he knew he was good at solos. But I mean, he had the skill to back it up for sure. He was just a very good player in general. He was a little weird, but I mean, very good Kingsfall player, very good Wrath player, would solo pretty much anything he wanted to.
Vertical, want to wrap it up?
If you ever want to see someone in Destiny that just knows what they're doing, like if you look at someone who's decent at the game, they look kind of scared when they play, even if they do something really good. Watching Wiki, it's someone who knows every mechanic of the game inside and out. The man could solo a raid boss in his sleep. He knows everything so flawlessly. It's literally just beautiful.
I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. That's the real thing. I like to teach the world to sing. To perfect harmony. Perfectly. And I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company.